Welcome class. Actually, this is my dati pang account sa YouTube, no? So, I was checking my YouTube channel nung past 3 years pa pala yung uploaded, no? So, kung fan ka ng, ng mga online learnings, you may check my previous video. So, topic nun is income taxation. So, that's one of the things na pinagagawa ko nung college student pa ako, no? So, part of my OJT is teaching taxation as well. So, maraming topics yan covered for income taxation from the very basic up until yung pinaka-last na topic, no, sa mga claims na yata yun, and parang refunds or kung ano pa man, no? So, you may check that. Serve as a guide na rin for your like CPA journey. Okay? For your CPALE journey. You may check that. You may refer to what I have been saying sa mga past videos na yon. Pero, focus tayo dito. Okay, so since we are having an asynchronous class as mandated, so it's actually, document natin, no? It's actually October 18, 2025. So, I've been teaching third year students auditing. Okay. So, focus tayo sa audit, no? Okay. Ayan. Audit. Auditing and assurance. So, we're actually at chapter 3. And we're discussing the accepting an engagement. Okay. So, that's our title, accepting an engagement. Basically, parang ano yun, no? Para pa tayo sa start. Since we know the soft skills, we know the necessary um, things that an auditor should possess bago pa man magsimula yung audit, with regards to their state of mind as well as the standards na meron tayo. Pero ngayon focus tayo dun sa actual audit itself. Okay? So let's start without further ado. Accepting an engagement. So under Salusag Call yung ating textbook, no? Based on this discussion, here are the topics that we're going to discuss. First is to discuss the general approach to auditing financial statements. Okay, so hindi lang talaga technically kung ano yung first step. So further, ma-check natin kung ano-ano pa ba yung parang overall overview ng audit process itself. Okay? So we have going forward, we will discuss financial statement assertions. So, nabanggit na natin siya before, no, sa previous discussions natin, and mas elaborate natin siya kasi we need to have that foundation in order for us to move on for the next topics. So, discuss natin yung audit procedures as well as the audit process. Okay, so audit procedures, I think, na-discuss na natin yan, nahapyawan na natin. Pero for the audit process, we will just further enumerate all of the processes na meron sa audit, and given that na-expose na kayo sa buong process na inaasahan natin for this subject. Okay? Next is accepting an engagement. Actually, doon pa lang siya sa last part, no? Parang minor topic naman siya kung tuusin, madali siyang intindihin, and we just need to have an introduction and a solid knowledge foundation for our audit subject. And lastly, we'll discuss the very important, one of the most important files na meron sa audit, which is the engagement letter. Okay? So proceed, syempre, dun tayo sa objectives, di mawawala yan. First things first is to have an in-depth knowledge on the financial statement assertions. Again, as stated, you must know every assertions kasi dito nakadepende yung mga procedures na gagawin natin for audit. Okay? So nahapiwan na natin yan before, and we just need to further enhance our knowledge for this one. Next is to have the general idea of the audit process and procedures. Okay, as stated, mahapyawan na natin kung ano ba yung matututunan natin dito sa auditing. Okay? Lastly is to gain thorough knowledge, or sorry, thorough understanding of the process of accepting an engagement. Actually, we are on the first step of every audit engagement na meron, no? Which is accepting. Okay? I-accept natin kung okay ba tayo sa mga clients na mapupunta sa atin, or like pwede ba natin silang i-reject given the circumstance. So, isa-isayin natin yan. Okay? So, let's go to the topic. First things first, stated by our book, ano, in general, an audit of financial statement generally begins with the financial statements prepared by the entity's management. Okay? In general yan, no? So, isasay natin. Yung audit daw ng financial statements ay nagsisimula sa financial statements na prepare ng entities management. Again, di ba, golden rule natin, sino ba nagpre-prepare ng financial statement? Siyempre, management. Okay? Auditors should not have the responsibility of preparing that. We just only give or express an opinion with regards to their financial statements. Ano? So, um, yeah, basically there should be an financial statements na i-audit natin, no? Pero in general yan. So meron kasing other types of like or arrangements for the audit na yung pinaka financial statements natin is not yet ready, especially during interim period, no? So ano ba yon? We actually have two periods in audit. No? We have the interim as well as the year-end period. So interim, basically, ito yung months na nag-pass pero hindi pa to yung or hindi pa siya nakakabuo ng buong accounting period. So like say we have the accounting period ending December 2025 and we are actually on only on October. So let's say October yung ano natin point in time na meron na tayong initial audit na ginagawa. So doon yung tinatawag na interim period. Without having considerations of the coming months, the November and December, pwede na tayo mag-audit for the interim period, no? So yung financial statements wala pa yan. Most likely meron lang is the initial trial balance as well as the general ledgers na meron, no. So yung mga nangyari for January up until October 2025, actually hindi pa nga tapos yung October, 'di ba? So we can have an initial audit for that. Okay? Pero given na para dito tayo sa general concept, no, let's say punta muna tayo dun sa year-end, right? Let's say nga, no, or let's put into our minds na okay na, tapos na yung December 2025. So we are auditing the whole period from January up until December 2025. So we have or we need to have these financial statements from the management. And ito yung audit natin. Okay? So generally, kailangan natin ng financial statements kasi ito yung i-audit natin. So bakit? Kasi dito nakasalalay yung mga claims ni management na i-audit natin. Okay? So let's check this simple diagram based dun sa general approach natin. So si financial statements, ito kasi ngayon audit natin. Bakit? Kasi dito nakasaloob yung financial statement assertions. Actually, na-discuss na natin to further, no? Actually, binigyan ko pa kayo ng acronym no? SAOB. So, completeness, existence, accuracy, valuation, obligation, and presentation. Okay. So, yun kasi yung mas parang ginagamit sa practice, no? Pero theory-wise, or like auditing theory-wise, eto, yung sinasabi ng ating textbooks. So, we have technically five, pero sa atin, no, six. So, yun kasi yung mas naalala natin sa practice sayable. So dito, though related din naman talaga sila, and yun din naman talaga yun, basically. Pero siguro, stick na lang kayo muna sa book, no? Kasi ito yung mga nalabas sa board exam. Okay? So, we have SEVRP. Kaya madaling tandaan yung sayable eh. Kasi wala, parang lahat ng nasa practice, yun na yung alam. Pero sige, stick tayo dito, no? Ito yung mga financial assertions, no? So, sa financial statements, meron nga tayong tinatawag na assertions. Ito yung claims ni management tungkol sa nangyayari sa buong financial statements niya. Okay, ito yung mga parang category ng mga sinasabi nilang claim na yun, no? So, we have completeness. Complete ba? Basically. Lahat ba is na record? Okay? Lahat ba ay sinusuportahan ng evidence? Ganun, di ba? Next, existence or occurrence. Nag-exist ba? Andiyan ba talaga siya? Talaga bang tama lang na ni-record natin to? Kasi meron kang mga supporting documents. Okay? Merong nagpapatunay na nag-exist siya, basically. Okay? Kung pinusupuhin mo lang yung mga yun eh. Valuation and allocation. So, it's more of may kinalaman naman to sa mga tamang measurement per PFRS. Okay? Or IFRS for the international standards natin, tama ba yung mga calculations na ginagawa? Tama ba yung mga fair value? Tama ba yung mga interest na ginamit? And kung ano-ano pang estimates and other figures or amounts na nag exist sa financial statements. We also have the rights and obligations. So, tama bang payables mo to? Tama ba na yung mga receivables mo ay obligasyon din ng um, mga customers mo? Mga ganun bang bagay, no? As well as iba't iba pang klase ng liability as well as part ng legal manners. Okay? Lastly is presentation and disclosure. So basically, we have PFRS, sinasabi niyan kung ano ba yung mga dapat nakalagay sa financial statements as well as to the presentation as well as the needed disclosures. No? So further, check natin kung ano-ano ba yung mga needed na disclosure. Pero I think meron naman na tayong initial understanding based on TFRS, especially I think related party transactions. No? So meron mga disclosures na nilalagay yan. So lahat ng yan ay mga claims management pagdating sa financial statement assertions. Ngayon, or like, yun na nga, yun na yung financial statement assertions. No? So, yun yung claims nila na ito yung estado ng financial statements. Ngayon, ito nga yung need nating i-audit. Okay? So, ngayon, meron na tayong mga assertions to. Gagawa tayo ng mga procedures para i-check siya or i-audit siya basically. Titingnan natin kung tama ba to, valid ba to. Talaga bang kompleto? Talaga bang nandyan? Tama bang may nag-exist talaga siya? Meron bang mga supporting documents? Tama ba yung mga calculation na pinagagawa? Tama ba na utang mo to? Utang niya to? Tama rin ba na ang mga pinaglalagay niyo sa financial statements nyo? Basically, kukunin natin lahat ng evidence na yun para eventually ma-audit natin and makapagbigay tayo ng opinion, which is our ultimate goal. Okay? So that's the general approach to audit of financial statements. So basically, yun nga yung point of view for year end. Pero pag interim, actually, we do perform conclusions as well. No? So like, let's say, nag-audit nga tayo from January to October. So meron na tayong mga sufficient and appropriate evidence for that interim period lamang. Okay? Pero again, as stated, wala pa kasi financial statements doon. Meron, pwede kang magawa ng quarterly financial statements, but up to the whole audit process, hindi pa siya tapos. Okay? Kaya nga interim pa lang. Meron pang year-end. Okay? So, may elaborate natin yan sa substantive procedures, I think. Okay? I think pati sa internal control, madadali na natin yan. Okay. So, we have the financial FS assertions. Actually, na-discuss na natin to. Ito na rin yung nasa chart kanina. No? So, pakitandaan na lang to for board exam purposes. Stick kayo dyan. Pero again, for the workplace, we have say above. Pinaka na iba lang talaga dun is yung accuracy. Pero basically kasi papasok na rin siya sa valuation and allocation. No? As well as the presentation disclosure. So, stick tayo dito. Completeness, existence or occurrence, valuation and allocation, rights and obligations, presentation and disclosure. Okay. Actually, highlight natin yung dalawang financial statement assertions, no? Kasi ito yung parang pinaka-tinetest. Okay? Parang pagpasok mo pa lang sa audit bilang isang analyst or bilang associate o CPA ka na, ito yung mga procedures na particularly ginagawa mo and talagang gagawin mo kasi wala kang choice kasi ito naman talaga yung gawain ng mga auditors. Okay? So first things first, we have tracing. So check nyo tong diagram, no? I've created the diagram based on the workbook, no? Kung doon din naman siya galing. Pero just to further elaborate natin, no? Yung chart natin. So we have the source document. So like, let's say invoices. Nakalagay dito, ito yung amount. Okay? Ngayon, meron tayong tinatawag na tracing procedure. Ite-trace natin kung ito bang supporting document na to, o itong bang invoice na to ay na-record sa financial state or like na-record sa trial balance natin sa mga ledgers and eventually nag-reflect sa financial statements natin. Okay? So check mo siya. Ngayon, ano ba yung mangyayari kung i-check mo siya kung nasa accounting record siya? Siyempre, check mo kung kompleto ba yung nasa accounting records natin. Okay? So, doon papasok yung financial statement assertion na completeness. Okay? So, ina-address nito yung issue na understated yung financial statements mo. Okay? Bakit? Kasi ibig sabihin, paano pag hindi na-record to or like hindi na-record tong particular invoice na to, ibig sabihin kulang, hindi siya complete. So understated yung accounting records mo. Eh, basically, madali lang naman. Kakalibutin mo na lang yung imagination mo. No? So, kabaliktaran naman siya in a way ng vouching. Okay? Actually, vouching, this is the, ano ba, gas-gas na procedure pagdating sa audit. Kasi ito talaga yung ginagawa mo, no? Basically, pag magte-test kasi tayo, class, meron tayong tinatawag na sampling. And madalas na pinagkukunan ng mga samples mo or like yung mga itetest mo is yung accounting records, not the other way around, no? Pwede. So like let's say for inventory count, mas ginagamit kasi yung tracing no? Kasi parang check mo andito ba yung record, andito ba yung particular code sa mga um, inventory nila o kaya parang pati sa pag-check ng mga PPE. Tapos i-check mo yung supporting document na yun kung kung na-record ba nila sa financial statements nila. Okay? Kung nandun ba siya. Pero kabaliktaran naman siya ng madalas na procedure which is vouching. Doon tayo sa mismong records na sa financial statement. So we have the general ledgers. So makikita mo dyan, naka-record debit o a particular receivable. Tapos a particular liability nakalagay din dyan. So lahat ng mga yan ay supported by invoices, no? Ngayon, initially, makikita mo na siya sa ledgers. Makikita mo siya, diyan nakalagay nga, diyan na yung records. Ngayon, medyo na, medyo nakakalito yung yung parang, kumbaga, words na magagamit mo. No? Kasi, masasabi ko na initially, ititrace mo Pero baliktad, no? Iba-vouch mo yung particular transaction na yon sa mga supporting documents. Okay, so from the records, i-vouch mo siya sa mga supporting documents. So nakita mo nga, meron kang payable, meron ka kasing binili. So meron kang invoice nun. Ni-credit mo yung particular liability para mag-setup. Ngayon dapat supported yan by a particular invoice. Ngayon, check mo sa mga nare-receive mong invoice kung nag-e-exist pa siya. Okay, so andyan ba talaga yan? Meron ba talaga makakapag-suporta doon sa accounting record mo na yan, yung liability mo na yan? Meron kang invoice na dapat nag-exist. Okay? So ano bang ina-address ng particular procedure na to, no? Check mo kung overstated ba yung nilalagay naman nila sa financial statements nila. So like, basically, the general ledgers and trial balances, so on and so forth. Okay? Kasi baka naman naglagay lang sila dyan ng fictitious amount pero wala naman palang supporting documents na meron. Okay? So yun, basically, yun yung parang pinakapangunahing mga procedures na ginagawa pagdating sa audit, no? And these two, completeness, existence, or occurrence, are the most common type of financial assertions na talagang chinecheck natin. Ay, actually lahat na yan, lahat ng record, lahat ng accounts yan, mapa cash, mapa receivables, payables, inventory, PPE, and all. Lahat yan. Madalas ang pinaka-procedure na lalagay mo is vouching, no? Okay? So, siguro pinakamahirap na lang pagka merong financial statement assertions for valuation or like ano ba ulit yun? Allocation. Okay, valuation allocation. Kasi syempre, ito na yung mga computation talaga. And medyo, hindi ko masasabing mahirap. Pero parang ganun na rin, no? Kasi, pero kung guided ka naman, syempre, okay yung ano mo, magiging procedure for valuation and allocation, financial statement assertion, no? Pero for now, stick ka muna dyan. Completeness, existence, or occurrence. Okay? Moving forward, okay. So just ko lang pagmuha ko dito, no? Napakalaking harang. Kasi yan. Itong mga financial statement assertions na to, parang nahati pa siya technically sa mga tinitest mo, no? So, we have the assertions about class of transactions. Basically, parang ito na lang yung pag-check mo doon sa mga balances na makikita mo. Okay? So parang financial statement wise, balance wise, the classes of transactions, mapa kung ano pa mang account yan, like yun nga, mabalik tayo, receivables and all, nahati pa siya, no? So tandaan nyo na lang to class. I think hindi naman natin masyadong, I think yung mga terms na bago, no, i-elaborate natin. Okay. So basically, we still have completeness, occurrence, or existence or occurrence. Classifications, more of the presentation na lang din. Accuracy, ito ba, ito, di ba, pagdating no sa ano, tawag mo dito, practice, ito yung mas ginagamit. Pero technically, pumapasok lang din yan dun sa mga the main financial statement assertions. And we also have, ito bago, cut-off. Okay, cut-off procedures. Actually, check siya madalas sa mga payables and receivables, like pag yung mga tumatawid ng mga period, no? Like, let's say nga, pag-record mo ng expenses, pag-accrue mo ng mga particular expenses and liabilities, minsan kasi tumatawid yan ng ano eh, na accounting period mo. So, check mo tama ba na na-record siya sa tamang period or dapat for next period pa siya. Okay? So, doon siya madalas pumapasok. And cut-off procedures, madalas siya for receivables and payables. And basically, pagtawid lang yun ng mga period, yun yung check mo for that particular assertion. Okay, doon naman tayo sa account balances, the overall balances na makikita mo na rin sa trial balances. Okay? We also have completeness, existence, rights and obligations, valuation, and allocation. So, same concept pa din naman. Board exam wise, I think hindi naman siya gano'ng lumalabas, no? Pagdating dito. Siyempre, wala man enumeration doon. Pero you just need to familiarize yourselves. Okay? Next, assertions about presentation and disclosure. Pagdating nito sa pinaka-financial statements mismo, pag nagawa na nila. So, we also have the typical financial statement assertions. Completeness, currents, rights and obligations, accuracy and evaluation, classification, and understandability. So, parang bago lang siya, no? Pero basically for presentation disclosure purposes, mas elaborate lang niya yung particular financial statement assertions na yun. No? Kasi yung financial statements, di ba, ano ba yung purpose niya? It's for the public. It's for their viewing kung ano ba nangyayari sa pinaka-company or like our auditee, ang ating ino-audit na client. No? Like, the purpose of the financial statement itself is to have the general idea kung ano ba siya. So, dapat, or like, ano ba yung saldo niya? So, dapat, pag nabasa mo pa lang yan, madali na siyang maintindihan. No? Okay? So, check mo din yan actually pagka mag-audit ka na ng pinaka-financial statements. Okay? Like yung gawa na siya and in the brink of issuing an audit report. Or like an audit opinion rather. Okay? Moving forward. Okay. Audit procedures. Kanya tayo sa financial assertions. Disregard nyo na lang minsan yung mga nakita nyo na homework. Homework agad, wala pang ano yun, no? Di pa. Pati yung code natin, I think it's OD, pero ano yun na lang yun. Pagbigyan nyo na ang inyong prop, no? Hindi na tayo tulad nung college student to sobra sa effort. I think effort, effort pa din naman, no? Given naman kasi na meron tayong actual work talaga, no? Aside from this one, pagbigyan nyo na. Okay? So, mahalaga doon tayo sa mga natutunan natin. Okay? So, we have the audit procedures itself. Okay? Discuss natin siya. Specific audit objectives are done for each of the relevant assertions. Ano papansin nyo, di ba, kanina, chinek natin yung completeness and existence. Ngayon, doon kasi nakabase yung mga procedures na gagawin natin. Ano yung nabanggit kanina? Tracing, vouching. Okay. Kasi yun yung audit natin. So malamang yun yung gagawa natin ng procedures. Okay? It serves as a guide in assessing the risk of material misstatement and designing appropriate audit procedures. Okay? So kasi parang lalo na kung may issue ka pagdating sa, like, let's say, existence, yung mga pagdating nga sa mga overstatements, okay? Like, nag-exist pa talaga siya sa financial records, baka naman fictitious lang siya, baka due to error na siya or due to fraud, di ba? So, babalik tayo doon. Ngayon, magsisilbi yung guide para ma-check natin kung yung mga misstatements ba na meron is very material or like it has a great effect or impact sa decision ng mga investors and other users. Lagi tayong investors na pagka general, like general users ng financial statements, nasasabi natin lagi ako, personally, nasasabi ko agad investors, pero sobrang dami pa yan. Okay, maraming users ng financial statements. Okay? So here are our common audit procedures. Actually, na-discuss na natin to, no? Um, Pero, ano ba yung acronym natin dun before? IOI, CRR, ganun, di ba? Inspection, inquiry, observation, inspection, confirmation, recalculation, reperformance. So, mga ganun, no? Six. So, ito din naman sila basically, pero meron lang na iba sa mga concept, no? Or like, dagdagan na lang natin. Okay? Actually, iniba ko yung mga I think iniba ko yung presentation sa book. Pero ito kasi dapat siya yung always start with inquiry. Okay? Inquiry, magtatanong basically. So paano ka nag-inquire? Madalas through phone or like through meeting conferences. Pagka meron kang either either via technology or talagang meeting. So nag-inquire ka kung ano ba yung nangyayari sa particular client mo. Okay? Basically, it's the most basic audit procedure pero hindi siya sapat. Lagi yung sinasabi eh. Lagi siyang ini-emphasize. Inquiry alone is not sufficient. Okay? Kaya dapat dadagdagan mo yan. Kasi talaga namang inquiry hindi yan mawawala pagdating sa audit procedures. Ngayon, dadagdagan mo na lang ng other combinations for the other audit procedures. Okay? Pwede inquiry and confirmation. Okay? So, pag-check ng bank balances, ito kadalasan yon. Inquiry and confirmation, inquiry kay client, then confirmation from the bank itself. Manghingi tayo ng bank statements nila, then compare natin yung records with regards to the bank statements. Okay? So, magkakaroon na rin tayo ng checking ng balances, as well as maaari din tayo makapag-check ng bank reconciliation. Okay? So, yung mga ganong klaseng procedures, no? Okay, sasayin natin inquiry, alam nyo na yan, observation, madalas sa pag-check ng mga inventories, PPEs. Sorry, in addition, pag-check ng mga controls, no? Minsan kasi meron tayong actually class meron tayong tinatawag na walkthroughs. Okay, walkthroughs. So, check mo din siya kung paano ba nila ginagawa yung pinaka-procedures, no? Basically, pwede mo rin siyang makita sa pagre-record ng mga transactions. Okay? Pwede ka may request ng walkthrough like, client, sir, ma'am, pwede po ba tayo mag-set up ng meeting, ng video call para ma-check natin kung paano yung procedure na ginagawa nyo. Kasi baka meron kayong system dyan, check namin kung sino yung nagre-record, tapos check namin kung ano po yung procedures, like, paano pag na-record na, pwede ba siyang ma-edit pa, pwede ba siyang ma-delete, sino pa ba yung pwedeng gumamit ng access na yan, sino yung nagre-review, and paano siya mare-reflect sa financial statements. So, ganun, check mo siya, observe mo siya kung paano yung process. Okay? Inspection of the particular documents and the accounting records. So dito parang papasok yung vouching and tracing. Confirmation, discuss na natin yan. Madalas magko-confirm ka lang with third parties. Okay, dun siya. Okay, third parties, hindi sa client natin. Dun sa other entities or like other companies, other banks. Pwede siyang banks, pwede siyang like legal entities, pwede siyang customers or like pwede rin siya yung mga tawag doon, suppliers ni client. Okay. Computation. Oh, sana yan. Next time na. Class. Sobrang hirap. Hindi talaga hindi sa sobrang hirap talaga. No? Lalo na pag di mo alam kung paano yung computation. Dito papasok yung recalculation, no? Pwede rin siguro performance yung mga pinagbabanggit natin. No? Medyo mahirap siya kung hindi ka-aware or like hindi ka-exposed. Pero gagayad ka naman lagi yan pagka computation procedures na. Okay? Basically naman dapat babalik tayo sa standards, which is the PFRS. Kung sinabi ni PFRS na ganito yung initial measurement and subsequent measurement, follow natin siya. And we will devise a computation procedure. Pagdating sa practice class, medyo, syempre, nagle-level up yung mga yan. I-cater ng accounting system ng particular client kung ano ba yung nature niya. So, meron silang kanya-kanyang computation. And what we just need to do is adapt kung tama ba yung ginagawa ng computation nila. Okay? Masasabi ko, ito yung pinaka challenging. Okay? Hindi mahirap, challenging sa lahat ng common audit procedures. Okay? Pinakamadali, inquiry. Hindi, sabihin ko sana pinakamadali analytical procedures, hindi rin. Okay? Analytical procedures, basically, you just check yung financial statements mo, mga balances niya. Okay? So, check mo, ko-compare mo ano yung relationship ng bawat isa. So, kung tumaas yung income, tapos bumaba yung, okay, bigay pa tayo example. Tumaas yung income, tumaas yung receivables. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Tama ba ba yun? Okay. Ito pa yung mga common na ano. Tumaas yung expenses, pero bumaba yung income. Ano pa yung i-imply nun? Ano pa ba yung mga common na mga naalala ko nung analytical procedures na kaiba? Ito, biglang tumaas yung cash. So, saan ang galing? Okay. So, like, let's say, 1 million lang nung 2024, naging 10 million pagdating ng 2025. What happened? Ano nangyari? Bakit sobrang taas ng itinaas? Okay. It's more of checking of your balances from period to period as well as within the period, account per account, and lahat pa ng factors na. So, i-check mo yan basically. Doon siya pumapasok sa analytical procedures, okay? So, sa audit, technically, we have three analytical procedures, no? So, um, we have sa practice na tawag siyang analytics. Okay, so, first things first, we have the planning analytics. So, ito yung parang i-check mo yung initial balances, i-check mo yung relationship ng bawat isa. Basically mag-create ka ng parang narrative, no? Ilalagay mo yung dalawang ano, I think pwede naman tayo ano dito, no? Example. Like example tayo, no? Okay? So let's say we have the 2024 period, okay, of 2025 period. Ayan. Okay. Then we have the percentage of change. Hmm, ano ba yan? Percentage of change. Okay. Let's say we have cash, receivable, PPE, uh, liability, equity, for ano yan, balance sheet for income statement, you have income, expense, other income, other expense, for the gains and losses, realized, ganun. So, for the income statement, uh, net in, uh, net income or loss. Okay? So like, let's say yan, di ba? Simpleng financial statements. I-check mo yung balance sheet, check mo yung income statement. Okay? So like, let's say may figures tayo dyan. Then, lagay mo dyan, or percentage of change, like let's say 30%. Tapos, kunyari, increase. Yan. Okay? Mga ganun, no? So, iwanag naman dito. Yan, ganun. Kunyari, ganun, ganun. Yan. Hindi tayo maglagay ng figures. Okay. So, percentage of change, like, kumari, pwede rin like 20%. Minsan nga, umaabot na parang anong nangyayari, more than 1,000. Nga ba? Hindi, more than 100 naman. Like, what, 150? Ganun. Pero possible din. Kung like, sobrang taas talaga. Let's say, decrease. Okay. Ngayon, for the planning analytics again, planning tayo, no? Planning. check mo yung initial balances ni clients. So wala pa to, hindi ka pa nag-audit, hindi ka pa nag-create ng adjustments. Malay mo may mga misstatements dyan, meron kang dapat i-check or like i-edit, lagyan ng adjusting entries. Ngayon, gagawin mo to for the sake na malaman mo kung ano ba yung current stand or like magkaroon ka ng initial understanding ni client. Okay? So like, isa-isa mo yan, may cash. Ano na to, no? Ito na yung pinaka-analytics. Simpleng ano lang to, no? Simpleng demonstration lang. Pero basically, check mo lang yung ano, like i-explain mo, cash increase due to increase in loans from banks. Meron ganun, no? Particular example lang yan, no? Like, yun, 30% increase, ganyan, ganyan. Ang pinaka kailangan mo i-consider pagdating sa analytics, huwag mo siyang pipilosopohin, no? So like, let's say, minsan nakakatamad. Kaya actually class, sinasabi ko sa inyo before pa lang na improve your uh, documentation skills, improve your narratives, kasi isa to sa pinaka nakakapagod na procedure. Eh, analytics lang yan. Actually, sobrang hassle pa nga minsan gumawa nito. Kaysa sa vouching, kasi vouching check mo na lang yun eh. Yung particular invoice, tapos check mo kung doon sa records. Pero dito, explain mo kasi siya. Yan ang minsan mahirap pa. Hindi mo alam kung ano ba talaga nangyari. Okay? So, doon papasok yung other procedures mo like inquiry and confirmation kay client. Like, bakit po kayo nag-increase ng ng expenses pero wala namang effect sa income nyo. Like, palugi ba kayo? Parang ganun. Yun yung mga klase ng scenario. No? So, isa-isahin mo yan for the sake na magkaroon ka ng general understanding for the state of your client. So, planning pa lang yan. So, we have planning analytics. So, yun yung definition niya, no? One of the substantive analytical procedures. We also have final analytics. So, final na agad. Final meaning um, meron na mga adjustments. Ito na yung audited balances mo. Okay? So, ito na yung parang mga na-record mo uh, na nag-a-agree kay client. Okay, so ito na yung lalabas sa financial statements mo basically. And we also have the subsequent financial statements. Okay? Sorry, subsequent analytics. Okay? Bakit pati subsequent? Grabe naman imagine mo naman, tatlong beses mo kunyaring i-defend bakit tumaas yung income, bakit tumaas yung expense, bakit bumaba yung liability. Tatlong beses siya. Okay, basically. Paano naman sa subsequent? Tandaan niyo yung isang financial statement position natin which is cut off, no? So, madalas kasi baka papasok siya dyan. Like, parang understated yung natin, yung like 2025 period. So, balikan natin, no? Planning analytics and final analytics for the 2025 period. Siyempre, subsequent um, analytics is pertaining to the subsequent period. So, happening after 2025, which is 2026. So, madalas, siya, for, ano na natin, no, happy na natin para madagdagan pa knowledge natin. So, kung nag-audit tayo ng for the whole 2025 period accounting, then hanggat hindi pa natin na-issue yung financial statements natin, we have the subsequent analytics. So, like, let's say from January up until April, which is the like suppose target na makapagpasa ng tax, ang calculations and up until mapasa din kay SEC, no? So lahat ng subsequent period na yan, i-check din natin. Okay? Like, we have the audited balance plus and minus yung mga nangyari sa subsequent period from January to December. So to April. Okay. Ba, naging format. Alam mo yun na yan. Positive. Ayan, plus negative, plus minus yung mga nangyari noong January to April. Bakit? Kasi baka may kinalaman yan sa cut-off balances natin, no? Sa cut-off procedures, sa supposed balances ng audited financial statements natin. Baka magkaroon ka kasi ng adjustment dyan. So, yun, madalas nangyayari yun. I-check mo siya. So, another checking ulit niya. Kung baka basically, ma-edit ulit yung financial 2025 period mo pagka meron kang nakita na dapat adjusting subsequent entry siya. Okay? Balikan niyo yung concept ng ano nyo, financial statements, no? Kung di mo ako nabalikan yan, kayo na bahala mo na dyan. Okay? Okay, dami na tayo nadaldal for analytical procedure. So, yon basically. Okay? Mas matandaan na natin yan. Pag nag-desist na tayo ng substantive procedures talaga. Ay yung mga pinakabugbugan pagdating sa audit. Okay? Okay, eto na. Speaking of, here are our common audit procedures. Okay? So, nakadepende pa yan, no? Yung mga binabagit ko kanina, interim year-end. Pero doon muna tayo sa basic. Okay? So, we have the common audit procedures and papasin nyo, no? Step siya. Para siyang ladder. So, starting with accepting an audit engagement. Di ba? Alam mo yun yung topic natin pero hindi pa natin siya nadi-discuss. Pero napiyawan na naman natin to basically. Pero elaborate natin further. Okay? Next is audit planning. So, dahil nag-accept na tayo, doon na tayo sa pag-strategize, pag-create ng audit plan and strategy, at kung ano-ano pa ang ginagawa. Basically, for the understanding na din. Okay? Excuse me. Next, checking and testing ng internal control. Pabalikan natin yung dati natin subject. And yan, performing substantive test. Ito yung pinaka-star ng Pasko. Okay? Next, completing the audit. So parang wrap up procedures up until makapag-issue ka ng report. Okay? So, balikan mo lang lahat ng yan. Okay ka na sa audit. Okay? So isisayin natin yan. No? By the way, midterms class, tig-apat naman tayo ng internal control. Okay. Ako na. Kung nanonood ka talaga, di alam mo na kung ano kung hanggang saan ang ating midterms. Okay? So, sisayin natin, accepting an audit engagement. O yan, happy. Ito na talaga. Pero mas elaborate na yan further, no? These are the preliminary planning activities for accepting an audit engagement. Wait lang check lang ako for ah wait, okay. Takot ako baka hindi nagre-record eh. Okay, balikan natin. Okay. Pasensya na sa mga ano ba to? Mga commercial. Okay. Para mag-add na tayo. Okay. Okay, preliminary planning activities. So, ito yung mga procedures na. Procedures regarding continuance of client relationship na ano na natin ito SEA. Okay. Um, SEA. Okay, mamaya discuss natin yan. No? Kung ano yung SEA. Client acceptance and continuance. Kumbaga basically, i-accept mo ba yung particular client? Particular auditing natin? Tayo auditor, yung pino-audit natin, auditee. So, basically, tatanggapin ba natin na maging client natin sila for this year? Okay? And either bagong client sila or dati pa silang client or existing client. Okay? Elaborate natin further. Compliance with ethical requirements including independence. Babalik at babalik tayo doon sa pinaka need na requirement. Mamaya, papakita ko ng file for independence. Nabanggit natin yun before. And establishing and understanding of the terms of the engagement. I-introduce natin yung one of the or like basically the uh, pinaka-necessary pinaka necessary file pagdating sa audit, which is the engagement letter. Okay? Kasi ito yung parang sisilbi nating contract pagdating sa audit. Okay? Next, common audit procedure, audit planning. Ito yung next step natin, no? Happyawan ko na lang kayo pagdating sa mga procedures pero elaborate natin yan further for the next chapters. Audit planning obtains more knowledge about the client's business and industry and assessment of risk and materiality. Okay, basically, aalamin mo yung nature ni client. Ano ba siya? Ano nangyari sa kanya? Have a general understanding kung ano ba yung client. Dito pinaperform yung mga walkthroughs, mga process narratives, and anything na magsusupport for our procedures, no? Nandito na rin yung pag-check ng risks. So, lalagay mo yan sa mga planning control matrix as well as process narratives, pati yung materiality mo. May mga nababanggit natin na yan, mas elaborate natin yan further. Let's go with the next procedure, which is the considering of internal control. Bakit natin ito chine-check? Kasi pagka okay yung internal control niya, mas less yung procedures na gagawin natin subsequently. Okay? Obtaining understanding of internal control system and level of control risk. The lower the credit risk, ibig sabihin, lower credit risk, mas madami, lower credit risk. Okay. Pag gusto mo na yung risk mo for control is mababa, dapat mas maraming procedures ang gagawin mo pagdating sa controls testing, no? Pero since marami ka nang ginawang procedures for your controls testing, mas less yung substantive procedures na gagawin mo. Okay. Mamaya, sa susunod, elaborate natin further yung mga relationships nila, no? Kasi merong iba na mga direct and inverse relationships sa isa't isa. Okay? So, dito ginagawa yung test of controls. Next, the performing of substantive test. Okay, check natin yung nature, timing, and extent ng ating audit procedures based sa mga nakuha nating evidences. Sa internal control pa lang yun, no? And as well as understanding natin ng risk and materiality thresholds natin based dun sa nauna nating procedures. Okay? Ito, again, if effective yung internal control mo, marami kang ginawang procedures for test of controls, napababa mo yung control risk, tag mo as effective si internal control, mas less yung substantive testing procedures na gagawin. Okay? Okay. So, siya lang, tingnan pa natin. Okay? Next, completing the audit. Okay? Meron ka na dapat sufficient and appropriate evidence dito. Dito rin ginagawa yung subsequent events. So, nagkaroon na tayo ng happy ako ano ba yan. Apologies for this. This is contingencies. Okay? May kinalaman sa mga legal matters. No? Baka kasi meron kang liability na kailangang ilagay pagdating sa legal statements. Going concern assumption. Babalik tayo kung mag-assess natin kung ano pa ba yung ano niya assessment na they are continuing as a going concern. Baka may issue na kasi siya, baka mag-liquidate na siya. So, pagka kasi ganun, baka iba na yung dapat report na gagawin natin or like pormahan ng financial statements natin. Again, analytical procedures, this is more of the final as well as the subsequent analytics and written representation. So, mag-discuss natin yung other files na galing kay client. Okay, meron kasi din silang binibigay, no? Na hapiwan na natin isa SMR, Statement of Management Responsibility. Okay? Lastly, issuing report. Yun na. Meron ka ng opinion for the whole audit process. Okay? Sa pinaka-financial statements nila. Hmm? Um, okay, ito yung mga kailangan nating factors to consider pagdating sa pag-accept ng engagement. Okay, this is the first step. Again, welcome to welcome class sa ating lesson for chapter 3. Okay, accepting ng engagement. First things first, you must check your competence. Okay. Competence to ni auditors itself, no? Like, pagdating kasi class sa pag-accept ng client, hindi ka pwedeng basta-basta mag-accept na lang, no? Like, ensure mo na meron kang capacity na accept yun. Baka kasi first time mo mag-audit ng particular client na yun, no? Anong gagawin mo dun? Mag-inquire ka na lang mag-inquire, tuturuan ka kung like, client, paano ba to? Kasi hindi ko to alam eh. Hindi ko to forte. Eh, ba't bakit mo pa in-accept, hindi mo pala alam yung gagawin mo, 'di ba? Dapat yung mga audit partner itself, basically, dapat meron siyang experience pagdating sa pag-audit nito para mag-guide niyo yung auditing members na kung sakaling first time nila, no? Basically, they need to have that sufficient knowledge and expertise pagdating sa pag-audit ng mga to. They must be competent. Okay? Pag-accept na accept porket malaki yung fee. Okay? Dapat ensure mo na meron kang sapat na resources para magawa ito as well as competent ka. Okay? Independence, again, babalik tayo doon sa sistema na dapat wala kang kinikilingan as well as wala kang kahit anong conflict of interest pagdating kay client. Next is ability to serve the client properly. It's basically the same with competence. you have all the necessary resources na meron. Manpower, lahat ng resources na alam mo pagdating sa knowledge, pagdating sa um, financial reporting ng clients na to, dapat alam mo yan. As well as you must check the integrity of the prospective client's management. Okay? So, hindi lang prospective, pati yung existing client. Prospective meaning paparating na client. Existing client, syempre dati pang client. You must check their integrity. Okay? Babalik tayo dun sa ano, parang naging procedures na sinabi ko sa inyo before, no? Like, meron ba silang issue? Baka kasi sila yung dahilan ng, maaaring dahilan ng further, ng fraud, basically. Okay? Tandaan niyo, management yan, no? Basically, baka meron na nangyayari na hindi maganda. Again, ang goal kasi sa audit is hindi ka dapat makipag-engage sa mga ganong klaseng clients, no? Actually, tinanong ko siya before sa prop ko. Ano pong gagawin kung ano, kasi tingin natin sa client na to, hindi po siya ano, hindi po siya, wala siyang integridad. Like, sobrang baho ng pangalan niya. Anong gagawin natin? Okay. So, syempre, based sa, ano, no, based sa standards natin, syempre, wag ka makipag-engage. Okay? Wag mong i-risk yung sarili mo na makipag-audit sa mga ganitong klaseng clients, no? Okay? So, ang tanong ko noon, follow-up question ko noon, paano po yun? Paano kung ano, parang wala na po talaga nag-accept sa kanila? Kasi, based sa standard, sabi, wag mo daw i-accept yung mga client na walang integridad. Sino pa mag-audit sa kanila? Okay? Actually, wala na yata nasagot yung proof ko noon, no? Pero kung ako yung tatanungin, hmm, per practice, meron at merong tatanggap sa walang integridad na client. Ah, anong mangyayari? Babalik at babalik tayo doon sa mga na-discuss natin nung una, pupunta tayo sa opinion. Pwede ka mag-disclaim. Okay? Pwede kang magsabihin na adverse. Sobrang pangit ng ano nito. Babalik lang naman tayo sa logic. No? Pwede ko naman palang sagutin yung tanong ko nung college student pa ako. No? Babalik at babalik tayo dun sa concept ng audit talaga. Okay? Okay, pero again, based sa standard, you must not engage yourself. Auditor, wag mong engage yung sarili mo sa walang integridad na client. Okay? Kasi bakit? Una sa lahat, ano yung risk. Dadagdag kasi yung risk mo bilang isang auditor, your reputation as well. Paano kung wala nang integridad yung client mo tapos nag-issue ka pa ng um, unqualified or unmodified opinion, di ba? So, bahala ka. Okay. Lastly, adequacy of the accounting record. Siyempre, babalik din tayo rin sa concept, no? Pagka walang adequate records, pwede kang ano pa ba yung isa? Adverse. Okay, kasi wala kang ano eh. Sorry. Disclaim, sorry. Pwede kang mag-disclaim. Actually, pwedeng modified, qualified, or mag-disclaim ng opinion kasi kulang yung ano mo eh. Kulang yung records na nakuha mo. Same with nangyari doon sa issue na nakita natin sa balita for EY Del Monte 2025. Okay? Okay. Elaborate natin further, no? Integrity of the prospective client's management. So, ito yung mga pwede natin gawin na procedures as part of the accepting an engagement. Again, class, hindi ito ginagawa ng kadalasan ng mga associates or analysts. Ginagawa to pa ng supervisors and managers and partners, basically. May higher ups na to. Pero kung konti yung team nyo, may chance na mapasama ka pa din. No? Like, yung ano na yun medyo in preparation na yun sa pagiging supervisor, basically. Okay? You make inquiries of appropriate parties in the business community. Check mo yung mga nangyayari sa balita, baka kasi na-associate na siya sa scandals. So, dyan, pwede yung maging clue. Okay? Communicating with predecessor auditor. Okay, predecessor auditor, it is for new clients sa mga clients na i-accept natin, no? Kasi pag sinabi mong predecessor auditor, merong nag-audit sa particular client na to dati, hindi tayo. Okay. Yung client sila. Existing na sila before in audit ko. Basically, for example lang, no, I'm from KPMG. So, meron akong client na gustong makuha galing from PwC. Ngayon, maglilipat kasi sila, pupunta na siya sa KPMG. So, si PwC is the predecessor auditor. Ako, KPMG, yung makakatanggap ng client, I am the successor auditor. Okay, ako yung mamana ng responsibilidad na i-audit siya. Okay? Ngayon, yung sa ganong concept, no, meron tayong dapat i-check, which is ito. First things first, ano yung reason bakit lumipat? Okay? Pinakamadalas na reason naman dahil mas mababa yung audit fee. Okay? Ganun lagi, no? Pero baka bilang ano tayo, no, bilang skeptic, baka kasi may issue or like, may tinatago siguro si client before. Like, hindi niya nagustuhan. Siguro disclaimer of opinion yung binigay sa kanila dati o kaya adverse. Ngayon, lilipat sila sa KPMG for the sake na maging unmodified or unqualified ng opinion. Have a questioning mind. Okay? Ano yung reason? Again, based on practice due to lower audit fees. Okay? Next, disagreement between the predecessor, auditor, and client. So, check mo din, no? Baka kasi nagkaano nga sila, nagkaroon ng samaan ng loob. Pero hindi, ganun din yun, no? Parang, yun nga, nag-issue ka ng disclaimer, nag-issue ka ng qualified as well, or kung ano man, nag-adverse ka, pinakamalala, di ba? Ngayon, baka kasi may conflict na ganun. Check mo kung ano yun, ano ba nangyari. Kasi nga, again, check mo yung integrity ni client. Baka kasi hindi siya okay audit talaga. Eh, anong gagawin mo? I-risk mo yung sarili mo bilang auditor, di ba? Lastly, check ulit yung integrity ni client's management. Mamaya, pakita natin yung um, quiz para mapakita pa or ma-assess pa yan. Babalik din tayo dun sa concept ng, yung sinabi ko before, yung check mo kung yung personnel is part ng listahan ng mga terorista sa Pilipinas. So, mapakita natin yan. Okay, retention of existing clients. So, ito yung mga recurring clients na natin. Dati pa natin silang client. Ngayon, ang tanong, i-accept pa ba natin sila or it's time for us to let go. I'll let you go na. Break na tayo. Okay, ganun. Okay? Check mo yan every year. Okay? Kasi baka, uy, bigla pa lang makulit tong client na to before eh. Ayun, nag-ano na nga tayo eh. Lagi tayo nag-issue ng qualified opinion. Eh, hindi naman lagi nila ina-adjust. Tapos pagdating sa system, lumalala na. So, baka mag-ano na tayo pointing to adverse. Tapos, maya-maya makita mo sa balita, lahat ng CEOs sangkot sa flood control scheme. Mga ganon. Mga ganong klaseng scenario. Possible siya, possible. Hindi siya purely joke. Ngayon, check mo kung i-associate mo pa ba yung sarili mo with your existing clients. Siyempre, check mo kung yung ang dami mong factors na i-consider. Like, baka major client natin sila, lahat ng pera natin kadalasan like 50%, 70% galing sa kanila. Paano pag nilet go natin sila? Ile-let go na rin natin yung mga sarili natin. Parang ganun. Check mo, assess mo kung kaya pa ba. Kung kaya mo pa ba. Okay? Next, check if there are changes in management, directors, ownership, nature of business, or any others. Madalas pagka talaga may change, so check mo yan lagi. Okay? Management, directors, ownership, babalik tayo dun sa konsepto ng integrity. Okay? May integrity pa ba tong mga bagong personnel na to? Okay? Nature of business, legal pa ba yung ginagawa nila na mag-change ng um, pinaka-produkto nila or like pinaka-service na binibigay nila. Allowed ba sila? Mga ganung bagay. No? And any others. Okay? Balik tayo dito, no? Actually, this is in connection with my previous slides from yung mga sinundan yung batch, no? The third years before pagdating sa kanilang audit. So, discuss natin to. Additional references natin to. Okay? Pre-engagement activities. Actually, tinatawag itong accepting an audit engagement is part of pre-engagement activities. Pinaka na iba na lang or like di natin di-discuss is yung other administrative works. Papasok to dun sa audit planning. Okay? Pero dito muna tayo sa tatlong to. Again, babalik tayo, no? Pansinin niyo yung slide natin. Preliminary planning activities. We have the continuance, SEAC. Introduce natin yun mamaya. Um, um, independence, and terms of the engagement. O yan, itong tatlong to. Okay? First things first, doon tayo sa SEA. Yan. Yun, nakalimutan ko yung pinaka-term eh, no? Client or engagement acceptance and continuance. Tandaan nyo na lang yon as part of the procedures for accepting an engagement. Okay, ito tayo sa step na yun, no? SEA. Okay. Client engagement acceptance and continuance. Okay. Distinguish natin. Pag initial audit, again, new entity, new company, company audited by previous firms or auditors. Again, as based to sa sinabi natin kanina, in-audit siya ni PwC, ngayon i-audit siya ni KPMG. Special audit for companies involved in litigations, fraud, and discovery. Natatandaan niyo ba yung isang firm na may scandal before, no? Parang pabalikan nyo na yan, kasama yan sa midterms. Sino yung may scandal na gano'n na parang inaudit siya ni SGB for the sake na may i-check dito sa particular client na to. That's one of the example ng special audit. Okay? Alamin nyo yan, part yan ng midterms. Next. Oh, kung talaga nanood ka, bahala ka dyan. Continuance. Prior year, audited company. So again nga, dati pa natin siyang client. In addition, no, meron tayo kasi tinatawag na parang in-audit naman siya, same company, same firm. Like let's say nga KPMG, same audit partner, same company. Pero ngayon, meron kasing particular period lang na pwedeng i-audit siya ng particular partner. So I think it's based on practice and experience na parang 5 years. So parang after 5 years, lilipat siya dapat either ng client or ng partner. So pwede kang lumipat ng partner. And mandatory siya. So, eto, though same company, same auditor, like let's say KPMG, ako, kumari from GMP, malilipat to a new partner like si PMJ. Okay. So, ganun. Part pa rin siya ng checking ng client engagement, acceptance, and continuance or SEA. Okay. Hindi lang naman siya through firm to firm or like, yun nga, audit firm to audit firm. Elaborate ko. Pwede siyang partner by partner. Okay. Pasok siya dun sa continuance. Okay, ito na. For the initial audit, ito, bigay ako ng pinaka-example paano natin i-check yung integrity. Evaluate integrity of the client's management. Nakita nyo yan, KYC. Okay, ano naman KYC na yan? Investigate or research the client's background. Ano pa rin siya sa KYC? Ano bang KYC na yan? Pwede bang yung manok na lang yan? Quote unquote. Sorry. Inquiring from other firm personnel or third parties is more of lalapit din to dun sa dun sa predecessor auditors. Pero mag-check mo pa rin yan for KYC. Ano ba yung KYC na yan? Communicate with prospective clients, predecessor matters to be inquired of or discussed with auditor. Iba naman to, no? This is a letter to predecessor auditor. Mamayang KYC, no? Dito muna tayo. Letter to predecessor auditor. Again, di ba, PwC to nalipat to KPMG. Actually, magsasend ka ng letter dyan, no? Another file to. Lagyan nyo na lang sa notes nyo. Letter to predecessor auditor. Check natin. Basically, parang isa rin siyang inquiry file. Check mo yung mga factors na chinek natin dito kanina. Balik tayo dito, no? Yung, ito. Ano ba yung reason PwC bakit lumipat siya sa amin? Okay? Meron ba kayong disagreement? Kamusta yung integrity ni management? Basically, yun yung check mo. Pagdating doon sa letter for predecessor auditor. Okay? KYC. Ano yan? KYC stands for Know Your Client. Okay? It's basically a file. I think it's common for all audit firms. Pero magbibigay ako ng mga examples, no? This is for educational purposes only. And I have tawag dito, excluded all the sensitive personal information and company information that is not intended for the public, but this is intended for educational purposes only, no? So let's stick with that purpose. I do not intend to have any connection with the files that I've been sharing to you. Okay? So KYC, this is an example of a KYC. Basically, check mo yung yung client mo, ano ba yung pangalan niya, ano ba yung audit mo, country of jurisdiction, for what period in audit, and you have the general instructions. So basically, this KYC has a memo for each firm. Meron tong mga guidelines na sinusunod para ma-check mo kung ano ba yung client mo. Kaya nga, know your client. Check mo, meron ba siyang issue with regards to its independence? Meron ba siyang connection with other people? May issue ba siya? Yan mamaya, pakita ko yung portion for ano, no, list of names ng mga tawag doon, terorista. Okay? Know your client, your full legal name, your address. Basically, pinapakita lang nito yung ano, no, other sections na nakalagay sa KYC. Pero dito tayo sa mga mahalaga. Ayan, directors and officers profile. Again, di ba, sabi natin kanina, i-check mo yung pinaka-personnel and management mo. Check mo kung ano yung role nila, kung kamusta ba yung business or career track nila pagdating sa company. Are they considered as PEP? Okay. Parang ano to, may kinalaman sa politics. Again, di ba, nasasabi ko yun before. And malaki ba yung influence nila? Okay. Are they prominent individual? Okay. We also have UBO, ultimate beneficial owner. It's more of checking ng ano ba yung stand nila pagdating sa company, their percentage of ownership, yun. Okay? Basically, check mo yung gaano ba kalala itong ano na to, itong personality na to. Okay? Medyo ano na yan eh, medyo mga sensitive personal information for the sake na ma-check mo kung sino ba yung ino-audit mong client. Okay? That's the purpose of KYC. Okay? Again, for checking ng integrity ni management. And ito, yung sinasabi kong results of sanction check for checking if the personnels are a designated terrorist. No, okay. Oh, di ba? Ang gastig, di ba? Makikita mo yung mga ano, mga tao mo dito. Mga listahan ng mga terorista. Makikita mo, ang pangalan mo, andyan na pala. Di ba? Pero pag nandyan yan, Dimatic, wag mo na yung associate sa sarili mo utang na loob. Okay? Ayan, meron yung list. It's actually a link, I think a URL file or like a hyperlink ng mga list both sa Philippine setting as well as the international setting, United Nations. If you are listed as a terrorist, lagot. Okay? As well as the Anti-Money Laundering Council. Yeah. Stig, di ba? So, pag nasa firm na kayo, check nyo agad yan. Okay? Okay, ito yung sasabi ko kanina ng letter to predecessor auditor. Okay? So, this is an example of a letter. Um, tawag dito. Uh, sent to PwC from RJ Manabat. Okay? So, basically, check mo nga lang na ano pa ba nangyari? Inform namin kayo na kami na yung magiging auditor ni particular client na to. Then, hinihingi namin yung inyong cooperation pagdating sa mga dating records, mga audits nyo. Kasi isa pa yun, no? Check natin yung dati nilang audit. Ah, ano ba yung procedures na ginawa nila for the sake na meron din tayong additional na parang understanding and procedures initially para sa support ng ating audit for this year. As well as meron ba kayong mga issue before, mga ganun-ganun, so on and so forth. Okay? So this is the letter to predecessor audit. Okay. For the continuous on audit, again, yung kanina kasi initial, ito yung mga ulit ating client. Existing client should be evaluated once a year. Sabi na natin yung kanina for the changes in management, director of ownership, natures of client business. Papasok ulit yan sa SEA. Okay. Next na tayo. Ito pa pala. Actually, there's a file for SEA. It's an evaluation report file for the additional control ni audit firm. So, isa siyang, ano ba, kanya-kanyang system kasi yan sa mga firms. And this is a system-generated SEA, client or engagement acceptance and continuance. Basically, ilalagay mo yung um, particular client mo and check mo kung na-approve na ba siya and accept na siya sa firm. Okay? So this is an example of a SEAC. Yan. Okay, moving on with independence and ethics. Okay. So ito is may kinalaman na lang din to sa soft skills again and part of your um Tawag dito, yung mga nabanggit natin kanina, no, pagdating sa competence and the resource that you must need. So, independence, identify, evaluate, and respond to threat to independence. Ulit kasi tayo dito, ano? Auditors must be independent of the client. Competence, do not portray having expertise which you do not possess. Mababalik tayo sa sinabi natin kanina. Huwag kang basta-bastang tanggap ng tanggap porket malaki yung audit fee, porket crush mo yung CEO, porket crush mo yung manager, mga ganong bagay, no? Wag. Dapat you have all the resources that you need. Part na din dito yung client understanding for the sake na alam mo yung proseso nila. So, check mo kung competent ka ba na gawin yung proseso nilang yun, yung audit yung proseso nilang yun. Okay? Service auditors and firms will have the capability, time, and resources to perform the audit. Babalik lang tayo dun sa concept ng competence. So, part na rin yun dyan. Okay? So, ito, isa pa to. Another file, independent declaration form. Ulit kasi tayo sa independence ng mga kasawa. Pero basically, meron kang file dyan. Okay. This particular file is, again, ayun, nakalagay dito. This is based on the standard. ISA. At yung sinasabi ko before, lahat ng firms is ina-adapt nila yung particular standard na yun and gagawa sila ng particular memo or file in accordance with that, kikater nila yan for their sake and ilalagay yung mga terms and conditions. Okay, so this is a particular example of independent declaration form. Again, sabi kasi ni standard dapat independency auditor. So ilalagay mo yan dyan. And ang endpoint kasi nito is meron kang pipirmahan. Okay? Pero I think the current trend now is through email. Parang magsasend siya ng email sa mga auditors. Then parang meron option button doon na yes, I am independent. Pag click mo na siya, okay na yun. Parang it suffices as an e-signature na din or like a wet ink signature pagdating sa independent declaration form. Pero based sa practice, it's more of ano pa din, e-signature. Kasi madalas online files naman na for audit. Okay? Dati talagang paper files yan, pero ngayon nalilimitahan na. Okay? In terms of the engagement, dito tayo. Yan. Discuss lang tayo ng additional terms pa kasi may nakakalimutan kayo, no? Again, our particular goal is dapat yung financial statements is in accordance with PFRS. Right? IFRS in the international setting. Ensure that management has used suitable framework in the financial statements. Actually, nilalagay ito sa engagement terms of hindi, ang hirap kasi ngayon, ano yun. Pero lalabas kasi to. Lahat ng to is nakalagay sa engagement letter. Okay? Meron kang particular statement na dapat nagko-comply siya with PFRS. Okay? Purpose, nature of entity, prescription of law are to be considered. So lahat ng yan ilalagay mo sa engagement letter. Usap. This is an agreement between the CPA firm or like any other auditing firm or auditor and client for the conduct of the audit. This serves as a contract. Okay? Client's acceptance of terms and responsibilities nilalagay dito kasi pipirmahan yan both ni client and tayo. And this is preferably sent before start of every engagement. Okay? So yun yung engagement letter. Okay? Merong instances na walang engagement letter. Meron kasi tayong tinatawag na MFE. O yan, naging ito, wala ito sa ano. So kung nakinig ka sa video, edi may plus points ka kasi kasama to sa ano, sa midterms. Okay? O, pahit ka nila. Pag di ka umattend, bahala ka. Okay? MFE, Multi-Firm Engagement Letter. Okay? It serves as the same purpose of engagement letter, but this is for the sake na parang isa siyang file, lahat ng terms is nakalagay na doon. So basically parang engagement letter din. Pero madalas kasi is ito yung naro-roll forward na lang. So parang it suffices as like an engagement letter pero ginagamit siya taon-taon para hindi ka na magawa ng engagement letter kasi magastos to. Okay? I think it needs a notary pa din and other types of fees na involved for legality. Kasi contract yan. Okay? So, MFE, it's a valid file as well. Pero kung hindi ka pa nagsisimula, wala pang ganito, wala pang MFE, wala pang EL, o yung mga ano natin, abbreviations. We also have ESM. Okay? ESM is Early Start Memo. So, itong ESM naman na to, parang habang wala pang engagement letter, pwede ka kasi mag-start ng audit, lalo na to sa mga recurring audits mo. Ginagawa yung Early Start Memo based on the name itself para makapagsimula ka na agad ng audit procedures mo kahit wala pa tong mga contracts and other legalities. Kasi madalas, sa sobrang daming ginagawa sa client, tapos magsa-start na yung audit, tapos wala pa to, eh, delikado ka kasi baka ikaw yung mahuli. Pagka kasi may ESM ka na, pwede ka namang hingi ng mga files na gagawin mo or like necessary documents na kukunin mo para tuloy-tuloy yung audit mo. Okay? Pero may ano siya, may time period lang. I forgot the time, pero parang it only lasts for weeks or month or a month. No, either week weeks, I think 2 weeks or a month or a total of 4 weeks. Then pagka wala pa din, pwede ka mag-renew ng ESM. Pero I think it's one-time thing na lang, yung renewal. Kasi dapat meron ka ng EL or MFE. Okay? Otherwise, pag wala yung mga yon, tigil. Tigil sa audit. Okay? Tandaan mo yun, ha? Okay. Changes in engagement, factors in sending new EL. Ito, dun sa yung engagement letter kasi natin, pwede siyang ulit-ulit, pwede ring pabago-bago, no? And sabi nga natin, magastos siya. So, madalas, one-time thing and it will last like, let's say, 3 years or 5 years. Pero, pagka meron nito mga changes na to, dapat mag-send ka ng bagong EL. Okay? There should be a reasonable justification of changes or a lower level of assurance engagement. Sorry. At pag nangyari itong mga to, like, the reasonable justification of changes, madalas pagka merong new engagement, new management, yung mga nabanggit natin kanina, new nature of business. So, magsasend ka ng bagong EL. As well as lower level of assurance engagement. Babalik tayo dun sa ano, no? Baka kasi hindi na ano eh. Baka kasi hindi na audit yung gagawin natin. Baka review procedures na lang. Again, engagement letter din yung tawag sa mga yun. Okay? So, focus ka na lang muna sa audit. Okay? Okay. Next. Okay. Elaborate natin further yung engagement letter, no? So, ano ba nasa loob nito? Objective ng audit ng FS, management's responsibility para siyang initial SMR. Okay? Statement of Management Responsibility. Discuss ko na yan. Okay? Scope of audit. Alam ba yung audit natin? Andito na yung period. Like from January to October, interim and year-end ba tayo? Buuan na. January to December na. Okay? Ano pa ba yung mga possible nating i-test? Ano yung mga accounts sa possible nating i-test? Pero lalagay mo lang kasi dyan, based sa materiality. Okay? Tama yan. Forms or any reports that the auditors expects to issue. Ano ba yung mga issue natin? Yung pinaka-audit opinion natin, management letter. O yan, ibagong term yun. Iba yung management representation letter with management letter. Discuss natin further. Next topics. Okay. Pwede mo nang i-search kung masipag ka. And any others. Facts of limitation resulting to unavoidable risk, material misstatement. Dahil nga audit lang tayo and we only provide reasonable assurance, again, meron mga inherent limitations, ilalagay mo din yan. Okay? Responsibility of the client to allow the auditor to have the unrestricted access to whatever records, documentations, etc. This is for the sake na meron tayong access for their system para magkaroon tayo ng sufficient appropriate evidence. Otherwise, pag hindi nila to pinirmahan, hindi nila to inaccept, edi boom, go with disclaimer of opinion. Okay? Kung nakalagay yan, no? Tira mo, contract to class. O parang pag meron silang breach of contract, edi kasuhan na to. Okay? Lalo na yung, hindi naman sa technically magre-resort lagi sa kasuhan for kit contract. Pero yung dito, yung for the very facts na um, pinirmahan nila yung engagement letter tapos sinabi nila na okay, wala kayong restricted access, lahat ibibigay namin sa inyo. Pero pagdating pala doon sa mismong procedure na ay ayaw nilang ibigay ito, ay ano na, May pinirmahan nyo to eh. Ito yung ano natin, ito yung ebidensya natin. So, this is one of our evidence na ilalagay for the disclaimer of opinion. Pinirmahan nyo to, tapos hindi kayo nagbigay sa amin. Okay, ito yung ano namin, ito yung basis namin, ng opinion namin. Okay, gets mo na yan. Kaya mo yan. Third ka na. So, in addition, ito pa yung mga nilalagay. Billing arrangement. So, natatawa ako no, dahil pinaka-purpose ng engagement letter is para ma-expose ng lahat ng mga terms and mga supposed na ginagawa sa audit and all, lahat ng responsibility, etc., etc. Pero, pagdating sa practice, madalas, tingnan mo. Okay? Billing arrangement. Andito yung audit fees. Bakit? Kasi isa pa yan, audit fee, nasa ano yan, nasa income statement mo yan. So, i-check mo din yan kung tama ba yung record nila. Pero bukod doon, um, check mo, or like one of the things to na check mo kung kumikita pa ba yung audit firm. Okay. Kasi baka 90,000 lang pala yung ano, 90,000 lang yung audit fee or like 80,000 yung audit fee tapos ilang buwan mo siyang ginagawa. Eh kung sumisweldo ka ng 30K, for example, tapos ginawa mo siya ng ano, parang like let's say 5 months, o edi ilan yun, di ba? 150K na yung gasto sa'yo. Baka yung income natin? 80 to 90K lang. Edi lugi tayo. Alam na, alam nangyayari yan. Okay? Yung mga bagay na tinitingnan mo. Okay? Expectation of receiving MRL. Management representation letter. Iba pa yan. Iba pa yan doon sa SMR. Okay? Discuss natin yan next time. Arrangements concerning the involvement of others, experts, other auditors, and internal auditors. This is an explicit statement na baka client please expect na baka mag-consult kami with sampling experts as well as actuaries, mga independent and other legal personalities. So yan, mga yan. Okay. Hindi sila involved doon sa parang pinaka-contract natin. They are considered as third parties, so baka kailangan ng help namin sa kanila. Okay. Request for client to confirm the terms of the engagement. So basically, this is the portion na please accept this engagement letter, pirmahan mo, and then meron na tayong contract. Okay? Ganun siya kahalaga. Okay? Oo, ayan. Ganun siya kahalaga. Tapos didiscuss pa natin yung ano pa ba yung importance niya. First is to avoid misunderstandings. Baka kasi sinabihin niya, oh, akala ko ba, ano, sinabi mo na, yun nga, balik tayo doon sa concept kanina. Sinabi mo client na wala kaming restriction. Eh bakit mo kami inaano, pinipigilan? May misunderstanding ba tayo doon? Eh, pinirmahan natin. Diba? Mga ganong bagay. Sabi mo, client, nagko-comply ka with PFRS. Nakalagay na nga dito, yun din yung audit natin. Eh, ba't hindi mo ginawa? Okay. May misunderstanding ba tayo? Eh, nandito sa kontrata. Okay. Sabi ni client, iba pa, other scenario. Oh, akala ko bang i-audit mo lang is etong period na to. Tapos sabi mo kaya mo siyang gawin. May period din minsan, no? Sabi mo gagawin mo siya from January up until June. Bakit December na hindi mo pa rin tapos? This is for the fiscal period audit. Di ba? May misunderstanding ba tayo, auditor? Okay. Two sides, you have the two parties. So this clarifies any misunderstanding. Okay? Next is to document and confirm the auditor's acceptance. Eh, ito na nga yung ano eh. Actually, auditors and auditees acceptance. Pipirmahan niya ng partner as well as the, ano yun? Those charged with governance, the head, the CEO, or kung sino pa mang pinakamataas sa client. Okay? Or sino pa mang authorized to have or to sign the engagement letter on their side. Okay, for the recurring audits, factors to consider in sending a new engagement letter, nabanggit na naman natin to kanina, pero anuhin pa natin. Pag merong client misunderstands the objective and scope, o send mo ulit, baka meron siyang nami-miss out. Again, to avoid misunderstanding. Revise the special terms of the engagement. Mag-send ka, baka kasi may special term tayo na need, baka meron tayong special new standard na dapat i-state doon sa sa particular engagement letter, baka kasi ma-miss out o ilagay mo yan dyan. Recent change of senior management, BODR ownership, again, for the sake na ma-check yung integrity nila, ilalagay din natin yun sa engagement letter. Significant change in nature of the client's business, balikan mo na lang ulit. Legal requirements and other government agencies pronouncements. Sorry. Pagka minandato ka na, lalo na sa mga special audits, o di yan, mag-send ka ulit ng engagement letter. Oh, this is an example of an engagement letter. Okay? Meron ka din sa book niyan, pero this is an example of tawag mo dito, an engagement letter for a retirement plan. Okay, sa mga fund accounting and plan. So, may kanya-kanya pang special audit yan, no? Pero, you may check yung nasa book, pero ito yung another example of kung ano siya sa practice. Okay? Basically, ilalagay mo lang yung pangalan ng client, then kung ano yung audit mo. And we are pleased to confirm our acceptance and our understanding of this audit engagement by means of this letter. Our audit will be conducted with the objective of expressing an opinion on the financial statements. Okay? Pagdating mo class sa practice, mas ma-appreciate mo ng lahat ng nakikita mo sa theory kasi yun din naman yung nilalagay nila sa practice. Or like lahat ng mga binanggit nating terms, magugulat ka na lang, oh, andun pala yun. Okay? O ito, di ba? Audit will be conducted with the objective of expressing opinion on the finances. Ito na nga yung pinaka purpose ng audit. Tapos lalagay mo lang, i-reiterate mo lang pagdating sa practice. Okay? Oh, enough of that. Other things to note. Audit of components for yung mga sake na meron kang branch and head office, meron kang subsidiaries, yung mga ganun, no? Meron kang main office, tapos paano okay, ina-audit yung main office, paano yung mga branches, paano yung mga subsidiaries, okay? Paano na yung engagement letter nila? Meron ba tayong dapat i-consider? Okay? Ito yung mga yon. Consider mo na mag-send ng separate engagement letter to the component. Yung component is yung yun nga, yung mga parang related party sa kanya. Check mo kung first things first who appoints the auditor of the component, whether a separate audit report is to be issued in the component. Kumbaga, check mo na lang na ito bang ito bang subsidiary na to, itong component na to is para na ring tumatayo na rin na parang home office. So, parang sobrang laki na rin ng niya, significance para mag-send ka na rin ng engagement letter for that. Baka kasi hindi sapat na itong home office na lang yung audit natin, baka itong particular branches na rin na to. Okay? Baka minandato na rin na siya ng legal entities, extent of any work performed by other auditor, degree of ownership by parent, and degree of independence of the components management. So basically, check mo lang itong mga factors na to and assess if need ng separate engagement letter for them. Okay. Tapos din. So class, after this, after mo manood, check mo yung quiz natin. I will post this, I think, baka sa classroom na lang. No? So check mo na lang yun. You have, I think, up until 9 p.m. today. It's October 18, Saturday. So, yung natin, no? 9 p.m. Sige, 9 p.m. Yun yung deadline natin for answering the quiz. And I won't entertain any other time na, ay, wala po eh. Okay. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka sumunod sa synchronous class natin. Bahala ko dyan, na. Okay. So, this is via MS Forms, chapters 3 and 4. 4 is ngayon, yung 3 is yung diniscuss natin yung synchronous, again, 20 questions each, multiple choice. Oh, oh. Okay? So, balikan mo na lang yan. Okay? So, for your homework, actually, hindi naman yan. Dapat homework yan. Pero the chapter 5 is more of the, planning. Okay? Yung next step natin sa process. And prepare for a quiz as well. And again, as stated by the local authorities, asynchronous classes ulit tayo next Saturday. Okay? Hopefully, tama na kasi pagod na ako mag-video. Pero kung natuwa ka naman sa ating presentation ngayon at natuwa ka sa ating video presentation, video lesson, subscribe. Ngayon ko na lang ulit ginamata. Pero hopefully, marami ka natutunan. And again, if you are willing to have an additional source, pwede mong i-check yung mga other videos. Link down below. Okay? So that's all. Guys, thank you and see you for our next session. So this is accepting an engagement through auditing and assurance principles, and I am your prof, JD, Sir JD, your Kuya JD, and thank you. Peace. Bye, prof.